Hey y'all, Nani here. Welcome back to my channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you. So, I just wanted to come on today and, just chat to y'all about a few things. I finally colored my hair, as you can see. And I love this color. I think it came out really well. I feel like it looks just more blended. That other color that I got was just straight red, and it just wasn't a good look. You know what I mean? But I just feel like this color, I got auburn this time, and I feel like from roots to ends, it's a much better match. I think y'all would agree with me, but if you don't agree with me, please let me know. Oh, I've got a hair on my face. Just a minute here. Oh, hi there. Hey, y'all. How you doing? I thought I'd have a little bit of fun. But while I'm here, let me show you something that I don't like about going gray. Alright? And I know, I was like, I'm going to go gray. I'm just going to accept it and la-di-da. No, ma'am. No. All that does is just make me look older. But I missed some spots, y'all. And I thought I did a really good job. But part of the problem was I was talking to y'all, and I got myself distracted, so that's all on me. But the way I wear my hair, and part of the problem is though, just not even looking at the gray spots that I missed, I feel like they look really gray. They do not look like that in the mirror, but it doesn't matter, because no matter how the part of my hair that's gone pure white, it whatever color it takes, like whatever color I put on it, if I put an auburn on it, it just looks like pink, so I'm not really sure. And I put in some of that the drops that you put in for gray hair to make it like cover better. I even put some of that in there, hoping it would make the gray bits darker. Doesn't do a damn thing. So I don't know. I'm like, well, what in the hell is my hair gonna look like when it's not just like gray this much, it's like gray this much, down to here? Is it just gonna be like half my hair's pink and the other half of my hair's brown? Also, like, what I've got like waves, right? Like, I haven't done any braids or anything. I've just got waves, but right in the middle of my hair. Why? Getting old is not fun, y'all. And now my cat is sitting on the spot where I was going to put you, so. Okay, hold on. Let me try something here. Because, oh, sorry. Hi. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. You're going to have to move. Come here, baby. Just a minute. Come here, Pop. Come on, baby. Good, Poe, you're going to have to move, honey. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Baby, you have to move. Boy, you don't want to move. And these cats. Come on, honey. They're so fat. They're like 18 pounds. When I say I'm struggling to move them, I'm literally struggling to move them. Okay. Now I have you. Did I ever show y'all this? I don't know. Look at this. Did I ever show this to y'all? Okay, so like if you have long hair like mine, and let's say you can't wash your hair, like I remember that time for 2 or 3 weeks I couldn't move my left arm at all, and even the right one was questionable. Well, this will assist. Okay, Kelly. So what you do is you put it on like, well, this. I don't know if it chokes you or whatnot, but anyway, this part goes behind you, okay? And it's so if you have long hair and you're washing it in the sink, it doesn't go down the drain, which is just, you know what I mean? So anyway, I don't even know what it's called. I have no clue what it's called. But I thought that was a pretty nifty, when you have a chronic illness, you never know what you're going to end up buying. But look who ended up right back in the spot I didn't want him to be in. Oh, who's that? Big Popo. Say hi, Popo. Oh, you the sweet little baby. Oh, say hi. Say hi, everybody. Yes. He wants to be left alone, but you're going to have to move, baby boy. I'm sorry. Come on. I'm sorry. I know. Come on. This is where Mama... Ooh, your belly's so cute, you little shit. You're so cute. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Now, look at that. I can't believe how many spots I missed. I am pissed. Like, I'm going to have to redo this over again. But there was another thing I wanted to tell y'all. Because, you know, now that I'm not working at all. And, you know, Kelly's hasn't found a job yet. So, it is a money savings if you stop the boxing color or whatever, like the box color stuff, right? And depending on what you get, if you get like a L'Oreal brand or something like that, some of those, or I used to get I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Claudia Schiffer brand, and it was really good. I mean, that brand is my all-time favorite box color, but it's a one use and then you're done, right? And that was like almost $10, the Schwarzkopf or whatever. And if you're having to do it once a month, my hair grows really fast, and so the whole 6 color every 6 weeks thing, no. I'm like every 4 weeks, and honestly, it starts, I mean, as you can see, like, I didn't have this much gray when what did I color it, like, last week? Maybe not, I don't know. Time flies, and a lot of shit's been going on. Good Lord, I got a lot of hair. Look at this. This is just, look at how long it's gotten. I mean, do you see this? Look. Here I go. I'm still going. Those layers I cut myself. Anyway, so boy, I just love this angle. Is just fan-fucking-tastic, let me tell you. But the reason that I don't have you like just like this or this close where you're staring at my ear or something fun like I usually do, you know, when I do this, or I've got my hair up and I'm walking around talking about my plants and just showing you my ear. Yeah, I noticed that when I was watching back the few past videos. I was like, baby girl, you're just showing them your ear. I mean, that's not... So I appreciate y'all putting up with that mess. It is what it is. But I wanted to... Today is more of an educational video. So we're just going to have to deal with this, you know, view. So, anyway. So when I first... Today we're going to talk more about small fiber neuropathy, which is what I started this channel for. That and any kind of chronic illness, invisible illness, that's really... And, of course, trauma, mental illness, just that kind of stuff, that kind of fun, you know, that fun stuff. That's really what I started this channel for, was to provide support, education, especially for small fiber neuropathy, because even though... Now here's the interesting thing. When I spoke to Disability, the people, or this company that's helping me file, because God knows I'd screwed that thing up in a hot minute. But when they asked me, they were like, okay, well, what's going on? You know, basically, what's your problem? And I told them, and they were like, oh, yeah, okay. And I was like, do y'all have people that... I go, do you know what that is? And he goes, oh, yeah. We have a lot of people that have that. And I was shocked. I was like, you do? And he was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, well, why the fuck don't any of these doctors know what it is or anything about it? Like, I'm just now, not that I've, damn it. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the ADD. This is where the attention deficit disorder shit comes in. But we're going to stay focused. I'm not going to say the words. I'm not going to say them because I'm going to remember. Just give me a minute. Okay. It's a Monday work day. I don't want to make y'all take a drink. You know what I'm saying? So just give me a minute. What were we talking about? Damn it, I said it. Shit. Well, you know what that means. You gotta take a shot. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say the words. But I even forgot not to say them. So, there you go. Now, what were we talking about? Oh, small fiber neuropathy. Okay, so when I was talking to the disability guy, and he asked me what's my main issue, and I told him, and he said he knows a lot of their clients have that, and I was shocked. And you know, every doctor I've ever seen, except for my neurologist, but there are some like, you know, because I'm in all these support groups, there are some patients who have gone to their neurologists who don't know what it is. And it's actually very, you know, when you go read about small fiber neuropathy, say on Wikipedia or other things, it's considered common in the neurology world. Okay, so, but I'm like, oh, why the fuck don't any of these neurologists know about it? Like, who is it? Just this one neurologist who has patients? I don't know. But mine did, fortunately, and she's the one that suggested that I get tested for it, and she's the one that tested me for it and diagnosed me and la-di-da. But I just thought that was really, it just kind of blew my mind that he said, oh yeah, we have a ton of people that apply for disability with that. So anyway, so today's more of an educational thing. And one thing, you know, before I've got some stuff on here on my iPad that I want to read. You know, I got diagnosed in 2016, I believe, in July. Yeah, it was right before, no wait, hold on. I had already been diagnosed. Okay. I must have been diagnosed in 2015 because Hippo was born in 2016, and I found out about his existence in February 2016. So that means that I got diagnosed in 2015 because it was July. Okay. So, y'all, I may have to put my hair up. Just FYI, it is, as you know, I'm in Texas, and it is already, it's 2 o'clock, 93 degrees outside already, and it's going to be 102 today, so I'm super excited. Actually, I'm going to turn the fan on myself. That helps a lot. Having a fan helps so much, y'all, but that means this hair is going to have to go this way now. Otherwise, it's just going to blow in my face, so let me... I can't have this. I cannot have this. So just hold on. Now that is something else, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Wow. My hair used to be so straight. I mean, straight as a nail. Never wanted to curl. I'd spend hours curling it with curling irons that were probably like that round. You know, now you got them like this, and I probably use one that's about this big, because now I don't want curls in my hair. I just want it to not be frizzy. And if I spray too much of that other stuff on it, it just makes it look oily. You know what I mean? So anyway, Okay, so back to the topic at hand, which I'm going to remember, I promise. Okay, I can do this. I know I can do this. Oh, shit. Hey. Okay, small fiber neuropathy. Okay, and so my intent today, for today's video, is educational. So first things first, I know I've told y'all about, Facebook groups or whatever, and some of y'all may not like social media or whatnot, but I just encourage you to use whatever, find whatever forum you can, where there's support groups, whether that's Instagram. I don't even know how Twitter would work in that. I don't know, but Instagram even is a little, because, oh my God, as far as I know, you have to post a picture, and it's like, well, I don't want to have to worry about getting a picture every time I want to talk to somebody about my skin burning or whatnot. So today I am having, I guess that's part of GERD, is or my voice is just gravelly, so I apologize. It irritates me just as much as it irritates you. Chapstick up. Oh, yeah. Oh, where is it? Shit, I don't know where. Oh, it's over there. I'll show you some other time. This is Chapstick Original, which is when I'm desperate and I can't find the red stuff, because it's still the same formula. It's classic. If it's not classic, I'm not using it. So, before I go any further, I want to say Happy Pride Month. My birthday is this month, and so I'm so excited that they chose June for Pride Month. That makes me very happy. And I have my Pride Month cup, my Starbucks cup. We got her last year. Is she not so pretty? Her and, I mean, come on. Are you kidding me with this one? Isn't she gorgeous? I lost her pink straw though, which I have to say, I mean, I was pretty devastated by it, because it just makes the whole look, monochromatic. But I'm wondering if I can order one on Amazon, and maybe someday I'll remember to actually look, because I've been talking about that for an entire year now. I lost the pink straw, like, I think 3 months in after I got her. But anyway, her name is Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean! Because she looks like a jelly bean. And of course, her name is Pride. She's got coffee in her. I made the mistake of drinking this on an empty stomach and had the worst bout of nausea in my life. Now, normally, I guess for other people, that wouldn't be a small fiber thing. Like, my husband just naturally gets nauseous when he drinks coffee sometimes. But I never did. I mean, I could just slam it. But lately, I don't know why, everything makes me nauseous. So Kelly went and got me ginger ale today, and I now keep a package of these in my room. Because what sucks is I'd be fine not eating when I'm that nauseous. I don't care about eating, but when you have to take meds, you have to have something on your stomach. At least I do, because if I don't, I get even more nauseous, but worse is the tummy pain is excruciating. So, so anyway, isn't she pretty? She's so pretty. But y'all, I mean, honestly, I need to cut her. All right, ADD girl, let's get back on track. Lord have mercy. Okay. So, like I said, I absolutely encourage you to join some kind of group. Now that COVID is on its way out, bitch, please bye. Okay, nobody wants to ever see your ass again, okay? Rude ass bitch. No. We don't want her. And she's on her way out, thank God. Or whoever. Thank universe, whatever. I'm agnostic, so. But I'm so much in the habit of saying thank God, because I grew up Christian that I don't know what else to say. So, or I forget. But, and I'll talk to y'all about how I arrived at being agnostic at another date and time if I remember. Because I just find those kind of journeys, like personal, internal journeys, just very fascinating, you know. Okay. All right. So, I think it's essential if you have a chronic illness of any kind. Okay, close. Yes, thank you. Not now. Thank you so much. Okay. I think it is essential to join a support group, especially for something like small fiber neuropathy. Where's my photos? Where's my photos at? Oh, okay. Because, for the love of everything, I swear to God, I can't. What is this? Lord have mercy. Okay. So, aside from like support and friendships and being able to, the beauty of the Facebook support groups and the reason I talk about these is because these are the only ones I'm in, so I don't know what other things are out there. Going to a physical support group for me would not, I wouldn't want to get out in the elements, and in Texas there's always elements except for snow, but we did get snow this year. But like the heat, and that we've had torrential downpours, which I don't mind getting wet, but like if it's, you know, it's just one of those things where it just instantly makes you tired. Especially the humidity is definitely a trigger for me, but so is the heat. So I literally never leave the house in the summer. Unfortunately, 3 out of the 4 of my children were born in July. So that means that in July, I will have to go to my parents' to celebrate my birthday, their birthdays, and something else I can't remember. That is the only time in the summer I'm going to leave my fucking house, okay? Not doing it. So anyway, but anyway, back to the support groups. It's so beautiful because if you're in Europe, I don't know, whatever, or it's 2 a.m. and you live in Tucson, Arizona, there is always somebody that is awake and on in that support group that's able to talk to you, because it's worldwide. And it's amazing, and the support is, you need support, because there may be people in your family that have, you know, that have a chronic illness, but it's totally different. Like maybe theirs is GI related, like gastroesophageal, and not that, you know, small fiber neuropathy hits every single part of your body. So you could relate to them, but there's many things that would be going on in your body that they can't relate to. Being in small fiber neuropathy groups, these people know exactly what you're going through. And no small fiber, I'm just going to say SFN, okay? No SFN patient is exactly the same. Like, we all suffer with different things. Some people, and that's why, for instance, if you're a burner, which means your skin burns, and I do have that, but I wouldn't say I'm a burner because it's not constant. But there are people that burn 24/7, and I just, y'all that are out there, I mean, I'm so sorry, because it's the most irritating, aggravating, because it's just non-stop. You know how, like, so there's a few different ways that it feels, and I can only speak to my experience. Most of the time, my burning feels like I have scraped the first few layers of skin off of my body. And I've explained this before, I think, but there may be new listeners or whatnot. So it's kind of like, when you're a kid and you're riding your bike and you fall down, and you naturally kind of use your hands to catch your fall, and you get up and like all this is just scraped to hell, and you might have like some gravel stuck in it, but it's all red because you've just peeled off. So it not only burns, right, because all this skin has been scraped off, but it's also bruised feeling, right, because you just fucking landed on it. So most of the time, that is what my burning feels like. Sometimes it is a full body burn from the very top of your head, over your eyes, inside your eyes, your nose, inside your nose, the outside of your mouth, the inside of your mouth, your lips, your ears, the inside of your ears. Every single inch of your body, down to the tips of your toes, and I'm talking about your bits, your personal private bits, you know what I mean? Outside and in, it's fun. So sometimes I'll get an all over body burn, and when that happens, I will take something to knock myself out. I'm just gonna go to sleep. I have to sleep through it. I can't. There is no functioning through that. It's pure agony. And then sometimes it will just be out of the blue, just this part. Okay, this is my forearm. Just this part of my forearm. In the beginning stages, my two forearms burned all the time, or quite a bit. Every day they would burn. Maybe not the whole day, but a lot of the time during the day they would burn. And that felt more like a really, 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 really bad sunburn. And then there are times where the burns, you know how after you will touch a hot plate or a burner or whatever, however it happens, you burn yourself on something hot. And it doesn't matter if you hold it under cold water. It doesn't matter what you do. The pain is just there, and it just keeps going, and it stacks. Gets worse, worse, and worse, and worse, and you're like, oh my God, when is this going to stop? Those are really bad. And I've had all three types. They're all annoying, but the one that feels like a fire burn, that kind of thing is what I call it. That's the worst. But I think I am in the burner group, just because a lot of the same people are in the same groups. And sometimes when I am burning, I have specific questions, so I'm just in that group. I'm in a lot of SFN groups. And I'm also in invisible illness groups, and I'm in fibromyalgia groups. And so there's so much support there, but not just support, education. Okay, so when I first got diagnosed, it was in 2015, and one thing I will give my neurologist is that she was the one, this was on her first visit. I'd been to one neurologist before, and she was very, way too direct. She was just, and there was no like warmth or I felt no compassion from her. I felt no warmth from her. I felt no, her patient care just was not there. And the thing is like, listen, she just may not be the kind of person that can exude warmth. You know, she may not, that may not be part of her, brain or whatever. Like, my brain is different, the way it reacts, like my ADD, my ADHD, and I can't always I used to be able to make great eye contact. Like, when I was in a job interview, I could be like, and now, when I'm job interviews, I am all over the place, kind of like y'all, I know I am in videos as well, where my eyes are just blah, 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 and I have the ADD. It's from the small fiber neuropathy. My doctor tested me for it, and I'd never had it before. But anyway, as I said, it goes untreated because the all of the medications so far that I've ever had for it, my mouth is already, as I told y'all, I have burning mouth syndrome, and I have to have a cough drop in my mouth 24/7. Otherwise, I'm sure most of y'all have experienced dry mouth at one point or another, where like there's no saliva in your mouth at all, and you cannot speak because your tongue is sticking to your cheek, or you know, if your lips are sticking together or whatever, you know, it's awful. Which is why I constantly have to have cough drops and chapstick. Shit. Hold on. Look at this. I chipped my tooth. Look at that. See that? Because I now clench my teeth at night. Yay! I've never been a clencher. But I figured out that's why. Because I think I told y'all I was trying to eat a sandwich or something, and I mean, I have a small mouth anyway, but I've never had a problem like if I had to take a big bite of something, like, you know, those burgers that are ridiculously like this. If I have to, I can open my mouth enough to take a bite. Well, I was trying to eat, it was like an ahi tuna sandwich. It's not like it's, you know, it was on a bun though, but still, I had to open my mouth. I couldn't open it very much. I could, like, I think it was like, it was like 2 fingers, and then it slowly was like 3. That's it, but that's it. 3 is as far as I can go. But I had to like shove the sandwich in my mouth. It was ridiculous. Anyway, but that is caused, or can be caused, by this clenching of the teeth. You know what I mean? Like grinding. So apparently I grind my teeth at night now, which I've never done, but I know it's because you know, being still for my body, like right now, the leg that I'm like sitting on, or whatever, not sitting on it, I wasn't sitting on it, it was out in front of me, is going completely numb, which my legs have been doing a lot lately, which is a little scary. Makes walking very difficult. And the fact that my neurologist told me, and I think I've told y'all this story before anyway, but yet again, there might be new viewers. So I asked her one time, because apparently what SFN is something, because as my neurologist said, which she could be wrong, but she said that small fiber neuropathy is a symptom of a larger illness. And where I was going with that, I have no idea. It's gone. It's gone. So we're just gonna move on, because I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say. So there we go. Wow, that is so irritating. I was telling y'all. Oh, okay. I asked her. Oh, my foot's going numb again. Oh shit. Hold on. Okay. Wow. I might start crying. Just a moment. Got myself a little pouch. This is something else I recommend, because I spend a lot of my time in bed. Not in a fun, sexy way either. Anyway. Oh, I used to be fun and sexy. Now I'm just fun. That's okay, right? Anyway. So, I don't even know where I got this pouch. Oh, this is for, oh, this is off my kitty stroller. You know, that stroller I got for my kitties that I ended up never using because I've never been able to walk a distance that would make it worth my time putting my cats in a carriage and walking them. So maybe someday when my grandkids are older they can walk my cats, but I'll probably have different cats by then, which is sad to think about. So we're just not going to think about that. We're going to pretend that my cats are, what is the word for when you live forever? Eternal, infinite. Oh God. You know, living forever, right? Anyway, so this was on my cat carriage with Kelly, because I'm always losing my remote, my glasses, because you know I have to wear two. I got my close distance ones on and my far distance ones. They're over here because I don't need them right now. But I always have to have my chapstick and my remote, and I'm, Kleenex, because I'm going to be crying about something. And I've got my cough drops in here, and because, so let me show you what's in my bag. I got my cough drops, whole bag. I usually buy 2 of these. I go through about 2 of these, about 300 drops in a month. I think 300 drops a month. I don't know what that is a day, but I just keep them tucked back here on my cheek and swish it around when I need to. Make sure you get sugar-free ones. If you end up doing that, you've got to get sugar-free, because if you have chronic dry mouth, I tell you this right now, saliva or lack of saliva is going to get you to where you've got cavities, and this means you have got to take excellent care of your teeth. Because some people aren't daily brushers. Okay, listen, no judgment, no judgment. I've always been a daily brusher. I haven't always been a twice a day brusher. I am now. Some people brush 3 times a day. And then I was never a flosser. I was like, flossing? Fuck that shit. I don't have time for that. Well, you got to make time for it, because when you don't have saliva in your mouth, the cavities, they're monsters. Okay? No. And look at this. See? Look at that. Now, this one is not cavity's fault. This one is because apparently I was born with just the one tooth. So I wish I would have kept that tooth. It's kind of funny, because that tooth was the tooth I was born with up in my head. Like, I was, it was here, came down, And that was it. There wasn't one behind it. And it wasn't until my late 40s I noticed, at first it was slow. I was like, oh, what's going on with that tooth? Looks a little bit different, but just it was so slightly different that I just convinced myself that I was just seeing things, or it was the lighting. Well, slowly but surely that thing turned gray, and I was like, oh shit, this is it. It's a cavity. And I started crying because y'all know I hate the dentist with a passion. Like, it's like it's a phobia. It's not just, and everyone's like, oh, I don't like to go to the dentist either. I'm afraid of the dentist too. I'm like, no. When I just think about going to the dentist, I cry. When I have to call and make an appointment, I cry. The reason I'm not crying now is because I know I don't have to go right now. And I'm talking to you, so you guys are a really good distraction for me. But when I call, every time I call and make an appointment, every single time I cry. It's so embarrassing, but they know me and they're very sweet about it. And then as soon as I get home, I have a full-on sobbing attack, like panic attack, because this is just when I go and they're just doing x-rays. So I have to be Xannied, that's Xanax, which I have a prescription for, out of my mind to go to the dentist. And that's because of childhood trauma, which is valid. It's 100% valid. So if you suffer with that too, don't let anybody tell you any different. That's the only way they can touch me. Otherwise, I already cry and when they're doing it, and that's on Xanax, okay? But if I just wouldn't go. If Xanax or gas or whatever didn't exist, I would not go, and my teeth would just rot out of my head. Like, that's, So, but anyway, if you have dry mouth issues like I do, you have to take extra good care of your teeth. And that's another really good reason to suck on lozenges, and that is because, and they don't have to be menthol, as long as they're sugar-free. They help you create saliva, which you desperately need. It has enzymes in it that kill the things that create or cause cavities. So, I would dare to say, if you are in the same predicament that I am with constant dry mouth, that you never, ever, ever, ever eat any sugar hard candy, ever. Because you usually suck on that, and people tend to tuck it back here, and you're just sitting that sugar right next to your teeth. At least if you're eating a candy bar, you're biting it, you're chewing it, you're swallowing it, and I always take a drink after, because it's just rich, and then you should brush your teeth after you eat anything sugary. I don't always do that, because sometimes I can't get out of bed. If I can't get out of bed, I can't brush my teeth. So, but anyway, back to my pack. I'm so sick of having ADD, y'all. Anyway, so we decided to use this, and I keep my nausea medicine in here now that I get nausea all the time. I keep my nausea meds in here. I prefer these because I do have the pills. That's because one time they messed up and forgot to give me the dissolving ones. But these ones are best. So it's just a little bubble packet like this, and you pop one open, and you just stick it under your tongue, and it dissolves. And it works so fast, so much faster than if you take that little pill. So if you do have constant or very frequent nausea like I do, tell your doctor, ask your doctor about this medication. It's called ondansetron. It's a generic form of Zofran or Phenergan. It's O, N as in Nancy, D as in David, A, N as in Nancy, S as in Steve, S-E-T-R-O-N, ondansetron. Orally disintegrate something. I don't know what else it says, but it's the kind that disintegrates in your mouth. And they work really fast. But remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. So that's why I'm telling you to ask your doctor about this medication, because it may not be appropriate for you, or it may not mix well with one of your other medications, and only your doctor and or your pharmacist can determine that for you. I'm not here to determine any of that for you. I'm just here to tell you what works for me, and that's it. Anyway, so I keep my toilet paper in here in case I'm going to cry, because chances are I'm going to at some point. I got my cough drops in here, my nausea meds. I might keep a little package of crackers in here. Of course, my chapstick. And what I love is I have these little pockets up front. Of course, I'll keep my remote in here. And my phone goes in here. But it's got these little pockets up front so I can see what's in here. So I can grab a sucky real fast. And this. So anytime when I'm eating, I floss my teeth every single time. I'm a floss freak now. I'm just always flossing. It's really important that you do that, because dental care, even with insurance, y'all, is so expensive. Like, I don't understand how people, just this, like this thing right here, I think it is this one? This one. I did the first phase of getting an implant. That first phase is $3,000. The second phase is $3,000. Well, Mama never had $3,000 again. Or Nani, sorry. I'm usually calling myself Mama. But anyway. So, but anyway, if you find yourself bedridden, get yourself something like this where it can hold all your stuff. Because I can't tell you how many times I'm like, where's my remote? Where's my this? Where's my that? I can't find it. Kelly gets so sick of hearing it. He's just like, look, use this. So, anyway, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about was the importance of these groups. And, oh, real quick, I was talking about I asked my neurologist one day, I was like, well, what happens when whatever root cause, whatever disease that is causing my body to attack my small nerve fibers, what happens when they're all gone and I don't have any more? And like my feet go completely numb and I can't feel them. Am I still going to be able to walk? She was like, oh yeah. Yeah, of course. And I'm like, okay. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out how, if I cannot feel my feet or legs, how am I going to be able to walk? That just didn't make sense to me. And I was like, honey, she's the neurologist, okay? Just whatever she says. No, bitch. No. Because guess what? My feet go, and my legs, even if it's just my feet, go completely numb. I can't walk on that shit. I can't, not without assistance. That's when the walker has to come out, because I can't. How do you walk? Like, I have to like drag them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even pick them up. I just like drag them. It's not cute, you know, it's not good. But the fact that, you know, you've got doctors saying, oh yeah, no problem. Can't feel your feet, can't feel your legs. Come on. Anyway, the whole purpose, an hour in, I still haven't gotten to my point, okay? The importance of these support groups is not just the human-to-human contact and the emotional support, but the education. Okay, so when I was first diagnosed, it was severe idiopathic non-length dependent small fiber neuropathy. And non-length dependent, idiopathic means they cannot find the cause. That's all that means. There is a cause. It doesn't mean there's not a cause. They can't find it. after all the tests. Non-length dependent means that it is in my entire body from the tippy top of my head to the bottom, you know, all the way to the tippy tip of my feet. And it's also inside my body as well, which is called autonomic. And severe just means like by the time they got to me, my test, basically all, like if you were supposed to have 10 nerve fibers, I had like 1. So, but if they had caught me earlier, maybe I would have had 5 instead of, you know, 1. But for me, I'm not saying for anybody else, for me, I have seen a progression. It has progressed for me. And the sad thing is, you know, when I first started my journey, you know, a doctor acted like it was no big deal. She was like, okay, and I'm like, all right. But, you know, everything I was reading up on it, I was like, well, this doesn't sound like it's no big deal. Like the stuff I'm saying, which is why I joined support groups, because you can read all the papers, research papers and all that bullshit, okay? All the shit that doctors do, dissertations and shit that they write. You can read all that stuff, okay? But where you really get the education and the learning from is when you join the support groups and you hear from patients about what their experience is, because there's no paper, or research paper, dissertation, or any of that a doctor's going to write that's going to tell you what the real experience is. So that's why the support groups are so important. But also, it's not just the emotional support, it's the education, right? So, you know, when I first got diagnosed, it was just like, oh, one of these diseases could be causing it. Lupus, which I've had markers show up for. Sjogren's syndrome, which I've had markers show up for. And when I say markers, I'm talking about autoimmune markers, antibodies. So antibodies, some antibodies for lupus showed up, but my rheumatologist said it's not enough. Even though every symptom I have matches, the markers aren't enough. And not every doctor's like that. This particular doctor was, so I didn't get the diagnosis. I also had some markers for Sjogren's syndrome. Why does this little button keep showing up on my thing? I don't like, it's making me nervous. Like it's telling me you're about to run out of time. I may not get a chance to say bye, so bye. Uh-oh. Okay, come on, you can get this. You can get this back. Okay, doctors. Oh, small neuropathy. Not every doctor. I don't know. I think I was talking about progression. I asked my doctor, I think I asked her for a prognosis, which basically is just like, what is the final, it's kind of like if you have cancer or something, right? The doctor will usually tell you the prognosis, like the statistics on survival rates and stuff like that, right? So for one kind of cancer, like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, that the cure rate, whatever, might be, you know, 90 to 10, whatever. And then, but if you have this other kind of cancer, it's 20 to 80, meaning only 20% of people survive and 80% of people don't. You know what I mean? So, but there was no prognosis. She was like, I go, what, you know, do you have a prognosis for me? Like, what's my prognosis? She's like, no, you're not going to die. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not going to die from this. What I'm saying is, like, I wanted to know, like, how is my life going to change? And she made it out to be like, oh, it's not. You're going to be fine. It's no big deal. And I'm like, okay. Well, it turns out she didn't have a lot of patients with small fiber neuropathy. And I think that's, I don't know where these patients are going, but girl, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. And please don't be offended if I say girl or when I say girl. I call everything girl. I call my cups girl, my remote, my chicken nuggets. Okay, that's it. Anyway, so, but at the time, so over the years, okay, hold on, I have a hair. Over the years, I've been in these support groups, and I'd say over the past, okay, so I was diagnosed in mid-2015, so I'm coming up on my anniversary, so that's 5, 6, 7 or 6? Is it about to be 6 years, I guess? I don't know. It's either 6 or 7 years, right? And through those years, I've been in these groups. And I'd say over the past year to 2 years, maybe a year and a half, I've been seeing people, they'll be new to, unfortunately, they were just diagnosed or whatever. But I've been seeing a lot of people saying they have autoimmune small fiber neuropathy. And for the longest time, I was like, oh, they're just saying, like, instead of, having to, sorry, I'm de-hairing my brush while I'm talking to you because I have ADD. Anyway, maybe they don't want to, if they're not in a lupus group, they're in a SFN group, right? So maybe I thought they were just leaving that part out and just saying, I have an autoimmune, like some autoimmune disease is causing my SFN. But more and more I started seeing people like everybody was saying specifically autoimmune SFN. So finally, and I've been wondering all this time, I was like, what does that mean? Like, why are they saying it that way? Because for many, many years, I'd never seen that term used in that specific way. They would say, I have SFN caused by lupus or Sjogren's, or most of the time it's autoimmune because unfortunately, idiopathic. Because unfortunately, at least that's what I was told when I was diagnosed, is that 50% of patients, and that's what all the research that I've ever read says, 50% of SFN patients are idiopathic. It's very hard to find the cause. But there is one. Well, I started seeing people saying, oh, I have autoimmune, I have autoimmune, I have autoimmune SFN. And I'm like, so finally one day I was just like, well, just ask, dummy. Like, why are you sitting here wondering? You have a plethora of people you can ask, literally thousands of patients at your fingertips, all with different experiences, all with different things they can educate you with. Fucking ask. Like, what do you mean when you say that? So finally I did. And my peeps came through for me. Now, I will tell you this, I don't see a lot of men in the support groups. Now, I don't know if that's because, unfortunately, a large part, at least men in my generation and the generations prior to mine, it's not okay to need support, need emotional support. It's not okay to cry. Men don't cry, or real men don't cry, which is all total bullshit. And what I love about these new generations is it's okay to cry. Like, you are a human being. It doesn't matter what your gender is, right? You're allowed to feel emotions. And if your emotions for you cause you to cry, then cry. Whatever it is you need to feel better. Because crying is just a purge. It's just an outlet. It's just, obviously, that is a mechanism, right, of your body that your body created for a purpose. Okay, you have tear ducts for a purpose. And for a long time, not so much emotional pain. I still am not quite understanding. As I said, I'm agnostic, so I don't necessarily believe in a specific God. I don't really know where I'm at with that yet in my spiritual journey. But I do, I you know, when I was a child, I was like, okay, sorry, hold on. I am getting these horrific, searing, sharp, stabbing pains in my left hip, where it feels like someone is taking a nice, big, thick needle that they pulled out of a fire and they're ramming it through my hip. So when I stop like that, it's because I can't speak, because it's so painful, and I might burst into tears. So anyway, and I'll talk about that another time, but that is a part of my my SFN is changing, and I'm not sure that I approve of the change. I certainly do not like the muscle pain. But this new edition is awful because it's unreliable. Like I've always had just this, and sometimes it gets very intense, the muscle pain, but it's usually just a constant muscle pain that no amount of stretching relieves. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, which is common, and I'm trying not to do that. So, but again, at the time, it seems that there's been such a growth in the past 5 years of knowledge of SFN, which is so interesting because it's not considered a rare disease. It's also not a disease. Well, now maybe I think it is. I don't know. But there is such a thing as autoimmune SFN, right? It's its own disease. It's not caused by something else, something larger. And I know this because I asked on my groups, one of my groups. Finally, I was like, okay, when you say what are you talking about? Because I find this interesting. I've never heard of this. Like, are you saying like it's like you don't have lupus, or Sjogren's or whatever, it's its own autoimmune disease? And they're like, yes, girl. So, as I was saying, in these groups, unfortunately, I don't see a lot of men. I know that SFN is more common with women, unfortunately. There is some statistic on it. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a pretty wide range of male to female ratio that have it, and unfortunately more women have SFN than men, and I believe that's the same with multiple sclerosis. But here's what I found out. One of my lovely ladies in one of my groups, can't remember which one, but it was in one of my small fiber neuropathy groups. But she sent me the link to this very interesting article, which I have every intention of providing you the link here, wherever the links are that they go in here. I don't know. But if not, look up Antibodies and small fiber neuropathy by Dr. Alexander, and his last name is spelled C as in Charlie, H as in Harry, A, M as in Michael, E, S as in Sam, I, A, N as in Nancy. I need a cough drop. I'm so sorry. Hold on. And it is this. So just take a screenshot or whatever you need to. I don't know if you can see it. Is it going to be backwards? I don't know. That's why I read it out to you, because I'm not sure if it's going to be like, because right now I'm looking at it, it's like in a mirror and it's looks like gibberish. Like, I don't know. So I don't know if it'll be like normal for you guys. You know what I mean? Anyway. But this is interesting, so I wanted to read it to you, if you will put up with that. And if you don't like being read to, just hit the little stop button and go on about your day. That's fine. It's not gonna hurt my feelings, okay? Okay. So, the website, so I took a screenshot. So I can't tell you the exact website. It just looks like it says Neuropathy Commons. But then there's several dots after that. So I don't know if that's the full website. So, I don't know. But anyway, I just found it very interesting. Okay, so he is at Washington University in St. Louis. This is his article that he wrote, so I'm giving him credit. Autoantibodies and small fiber neuropathy. Small fiber neuropathy is a neurological disorder involving widespread damage to the small diameter somatic and autonomic unmyelated C fibers and or thinly myelated A delta fibers. Now, I knew the C fibers were involved, but until I read this, I did not know that the A fibers could also be involved. Patients often experience pins and needles or burning sensations. There's a lot more than that, baby girl, but it's okay. Damage to the autonomic small fibers can cause dysfunction in key systems controlling blood pressure, heart rate, and gastrointestinal motility, which just means how fast you digest, right? So your digestion starts here in your mouth as you're chewing the saliva enzymes, right? But as you swallow, it goes down into your esophagus, and your esophagus moves that on down, moves the food, right, on down into your stomach. Well, if your motility is slowing down, right, it could take you, which is what happens to me sometimes, it takes a while for my food to get from my esophagus into my stomach. And sometimes, and that could be what's causing the almost chronic nausea that I now have, that I didn't used to have. The gastrointestinal motility issues can cause the nausea. But then it's slow all the way down. It could be slow to digest inside your stomach. It could then be slow to move through your body, and where you have constipation. And sometimes the constipation can be so severe that you have, it's impacted, right? I don't want to gross anybody out, okay? So in 1, 2, 3, I'm going to start talking about poop, okay? So if you don't want to hear about it, in 1, 2, 3, turn it off, okay? 1, 2, 3. So an impaction is when your bowels, okay, the feces, right, the poop in your bowels, it starts your stomach, it goes into your small bowel, okay, it starts, small bowel does whatever it needs to do, it then goes into your large bowel, and that is where it becomes poop. The problem is, though, that if your motility is slowed down, that means everything, it's like a traffic jam, right? So if somebody had a wreck, or somebody's car stalled, or somebody's driving real slow, you're driving behind me, right? A grandma. Whatever the case is, it's going to stop up traffic. But if it's inside your body, that is very dangerous. You could get an impaction. So I will tell you, if you have a lot of constipation, okay, and if it's been days and you have not gone to the bathroom, you haven't pooped, you really need to go see a doctor, because an impaction can cause a rupture, and if that happens, it's not good. It's not good. I have not experienced that. I have experienced what I thought, if I hadn't have taken care of business, it could have very easily turned into that, because I think the longest I've gone is like 5 days. And medication can cause constipation as well, but if you add that to GI motility loss, or your bowel slowing, it's going to cause a problem. So before I move on, real quick, since we're talking about poop, and I've talked about this before, and I'm going to tell you what works for me. This just works for me. Before you try anything, talk to your doctor about it. Because you want to always check with your doctor, but you also want to make sure that nothing that you take, including supplements or over-the-counter medicines, are going to interact with any medications that you're on, because there are some medications that have a lot of interactions with stuff you would not, like grapefruit, for instance. Like, who would have thought, right? But there's a ton of medications that you cannot have grapefruit with, grapefruit juice, even like something that's grapefruit flavored, because a lot of the times that has some form of grapefruit juice in it. I don't know what's in it, and it's not oranges, so I thought maybe that would be like citrusy or vitamin C. No, it's whatever the fuck is in grapefruit. I don't know what it is, but there's a ton of medications, over the counter and prescription, that you can't take with grapefruit. So I just stopped eating it altogether, even though I actually love grapefruit. I don't want to eat just the fruit, unless it's smothered in sugar and it's pink grapefruit. But like grapefruit flavored things, or like that ruby red grapefruit juice. Oof, girlfriend, oh my God. I used to drink the shit out of that, but I can't drink it anymore because I don't know what is okay and what's not okay. So, but anyway, I'll tell you real quickly what works for me to get things moving down there every day. Well, not anymore, because I can't drink coffee like I used to, because of the nausea. I kind of stopped. Every day I would get up and have a cup of coffee, and I would add I would call it my poop juice. So I'm sorry, I know this is gross, but it is what it is. So now I just add it to my water, because it doesn't change the flavor or the texture of my water. And water's, other than coffee, water's the only thing I drink. I don't drink caffeinated drinks or anything like that. Speaking of water, here we go. The only thing I drink is iced or hot coffee, which I don't really drink that anymore. I suppose I will try drinking. I have an iced coffee here. I will try drinking that after I've eaten. I haven't eaten yet today. But I wanted to make this video before I forgot. So, I add, and I have found, you would think, okay, so let me tell you first what my formula is. I take a half a dose of Miralax and a half a dose of Benefiber, and I put it in whatever I'm drinking, and I just drink on that for the day, right? Like, you don't have to drink it all at once. You just, I'm bound to drink at least one of these every day. And you know what I have found? Like, normally I used to always drink bottles of water, and I know y'all have seen that in my past videos. I always have a bottle of water. But for whatever reason, I guess because I wanted to keep it cold, I started using this. Ow, shit. Okay, so here's another symptom of small fiber neuropathy that you guys may not have thought of. First of all, this is my hand that tremors. So that, oh, sometimes it's 2 fingers, sometimes it's just the one. But anyway, as I was opening the jar, or not the jar, but this, I just, I didn't slam my hand on it. I went like this. But just the pressure of doing that killed my hand right here. Just, I mean, you saw. You saw my reaction. So anyway, that's why I reacted that way. Anyway, so now it's open. A lot of the times when I'm trying to open things, I have to have Kelly's help because my hands just hurt too bad. And even to this day, even though he's opened 1,000 different things for me, he's still like, you can open that? I'm like, I can open it, but I'm choosing not to because it fucking hurts like a bitch when I try. So yeah, no, I can't open it. So, you know, I do get concerned about what am I going to do if something happens to Kelly. And I really relate to the elderly, you know, even though I'm only 52 and I would not be considered elderly, right? Nobody considers people in their 50s elderly. I would be considered middle-aged, but I can relate a lot to elderly people because it's very difficult, well, for some impossible for them to open jars. And I don't know how to get around that. Like, I know there's safety issues and they have to be sealed, but I think about the elderly and I don't know. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. I need to stop getting off topic. But I just wanted to show you this real quick. So I got this. It's all metal inside. So it keeps my water cold. So that's why I'm using this particular cup instead of Pride or Jelly Bean. Because, I mean, they do keep it insulated, but not like this. Also, I got this during Christmas, and it's so gorgeous. Red is my favorite color, and especially this color, this deep red right here is my absolute favorite color. Anyway, okay, so let's get back to this article. Okay, all right, so we left it at gastrointestinal motility. Okay, there are several and varied causes of small fiber neuropathy, but in up to half of patients, no definitive cause is found. This has prompted physicians and researchers to search for new causes. Work in the Pestronk Laboratory at Washington University in St. Louis turned up evidence that the immune system is the culprit in some cases. In their studies, patients with SFN were more likely to have specific autoantibodies in their blood. Holy shit! Like, I've never heard that before. So, I am what some people call a medical nerd. Like, I should have been a nurse, but I can't. The thought of, like, I'm too empathic. Like, I'd be crying, and nobody needs that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if there was nothing wrong with them, they were just in the hospital for an appendectomy, I'd be crying if they were in pain or they needed something or whatever. Giving them I mean, I can just picture myself having to draw blood. I'd be doing this. That's my face. When I have to do something that I don't want to do and I'm afraid I'm going to hurt somebody, I'm like, you don't need to see that when you have a nurse that's taking your blood, right? Okay, so anyway, I fucking hate this thing because it, like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I just feel like you're getting a lot of ceiling. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. All right, so we left it at, in their studies, patients with SFN were more likely to have specific autoantibodies in their blood. What are autoantibodies, and what is their role in neuropathy? Your body's immune system makes antibodies to neutralize invading pathogens, such as bacteria and viruses. Normally, we only make antibodies that recognize foreign or non-self targets. However, sometimes things go awry and antibodies are produced that also react to molecules on some of the body's own cells. Self-directed antibodies are called autoantibodies. Isn't that cool? Like, they're just self-directed. They just do whatever the hell they want to do, right? Like, they already know what they're supposed to do. That's what that means. And that's why I'm a medical nerd, because I just think that's cool as shit. Anyway, like, I'm self-directed. Okay, thank you. I don't need your help. Bye. Okay. Okay. Self-directed antibodies are called autoantibodies. Autoantibodies. They are common in autoimmune diseases where the immune system improperly targets healthy host cells, such as rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus erythematosus, or we're just going to say lupus, okay, and Sjogren's syndrome. If you want to look it up, Sjogren's syndrome is not spelled the way you would think. It is spelled S as in Sam, J, O, and the O has 2 little dots above it, but that doesn't matter. You don't need to have those to look it up. SJO. So S is in Sam, J is in Jelly, O, G is in George, R, E, N as in Sam, and then syndrome. Which, if you need me to spell that, I will. It's S as in Sam, Y, N as in Nancy, D as in David, R, O, M as in Michael, E. Okay. Those are just some of the autoimmune diseases that can cause small fiber neuropathy. And if your doctor has not checked you for those, if you don't know if your doctor has checked you for those, number one, you need to ask them. And if they haven't, demand that they do. Or if you have a neurologist and a rheumatologist, it's possible that your rheumatologist checked you for those. But again, if you don't know, ask. And if they both say no, get checked. If they haven't already discovered that you have autoimmune SFN, right? If they're still calling you idiopathic, then you get tested for those autoimmune diseases, because there is a chance that one of those might be your cause. And then you can get treated for example, lupus. Okay, there's medications for these kinds of autoimmune diseases. I believe Plaquenil. My cousin has RA, and she started taking the generic, or the brand name is Plaquenil. I have no idea how to spell that, but there's a Q in there. So start out with PLAQ something, and Google will probably figure it out for you. But it's also, remember when, I'm not getting into politics, I'm not doing it, I'm simply stating fact. Remember when, back when Trump was president and COVID first started, and they started talking about this medication hydrocortisone or something like that. That is generic Plaquenil. So there you go. But that is a treatment. That's just one of the treatments for RA. I believe it's a treatment for all 3 of those. And I also believe that the thought is that if you can get that under control, it can stop the SFN, because remember, that's just a symptom, right? The small fiber neuropathy is just a symptom. At least that's what my neurologist told me. But now that it's its own, I don't know if that's true then. Do you know what I mean? Like, perhaps SFN, perhaps the doctors were wrong, and SFN isn't a symptom of these other autoimmune diseases. Perhaps it's an addition. Many times, so with autoimmune diseases, there's a lot of comorbidities, which just means additional diseases. And perhaps small fiber neuropathy is its own disease and not a symptom after all. And perhaps it's autoimmune small fiber neuropathy. So it's going to be really interesting to see where it is or what it is 10 years from now, right? Like, what are the support groups going to look like? I don't know why, but that's making me feel emotional. Okay, stop being emotional. it's such a bother. I just like, can I just go one day without crying or getting upset about something, please? Like, I'm not upset. Like, I'm having I feel, emotionally stable today. But for whatever reason, I don't know why that made me emotional, and I'm still feeling emotional about it. So, there are some symptoms, though, and this could be a part of the small fiber neuropathy. Some people do have uncontrolled, it's called something, I don't know what it's called, but if you just type in, if you want to know more about it, uncontrollable laughter and or crying, I would add them both, because you're more likely to come up with whatever the word is that I can't remember for what this dysfunction is called, where you cry for no reason or laugh uncontrollably, like for no reason, like nothing funny happened, but you started laughing and you cannot stop, and it's just like that hysterical kind of laughing, you know what I mean, where your belly hurts and your cheeks hurt and you want to stop but you can't. I wonder if I have that situation because I'm constantly crying, and I could blame the menopause, but like I feel like I'm over that part, because like I'm over menopause, you know what I mean? Like I'm on the other side of it. I don't know. Again, I'm getting off topic. Let's continue. So let's see. Okay. Wet my whistle. Okay. What are autoantibodies, and what is their role in neuropathy? Your body's immune system makes antibodies to neutralize invading pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. Oh, I already read that part. Okay, so we're going down to Sjogren's. Okay. We ended with that. So sorry. Okay. Autoantibodies are present in many neuropathies, including Guillain-Barré syndrome, which I'm sure you guys have heard of that. I believe there was a football player, I don't know his name because of sports, hate. But I believe he was diagnosed with it recently, and I think that's when people kind of learned about this, like they'd never heard of it before. So autoantibodies are present in many neuropathies, including Guillain-Barré syndrome, and chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. Most of the time, or all of the time really, on support groups, it's called CIDP. So that's C as in Charlie, I, D as in David, P as in Paul. So if you just go to Google, if you want to know more about it, you go to Google, just type in CIDP, it will bring that up for you. And again, it's called chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. And multifocal motor neuropathy. These autoantibodies target molecules expressed by nerve cells and damage the cells to cause neuropathy. In these conditions, the autoantibodies have been demonstrated to directly cause the neuropathy, and treatment with immune-modifying therapy, like Plaquenil, typically improves neuropathy symptoms. For instance, I've heard a lot of good things about IVIG. Just type in IVIG on Google. It's I, V as in Victor, I, G as in George. It's like immunoglobulin something blah, 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 right? And what it is it's plasma from thousands and thousands of different patients. I mean, don't worry. The plasma's clean, right? You're not going to get, whatever. But it's fascinating because it's from like thousands and thousands of different patients. So when you get, my back. I'm sorry. When you get, what's the word? When you get, These are not antibodies. Oh my God, I don't even know. Hold on. Okay, I don't know what the sentence, I have no idea where I was going with that. So, anyway, we'll get back to the, IVIG, sorry. I didn't qualify for it because I am idiopathic, and insurance wouldn't cover it because they don't know if I have an autoimmune disease or which one, right? Even though what's frustrating is IVIG, from what I've read, again, I am not a doctor, talk to your doctor, la-di-da, but, oh my God. I lost it. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Okay, well, IVIG. It actually, like, you can take it for all three of these, I believe, from what I've read. For Sjogren's, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, which are all also causes of SFN. As well, there's many other things that I'm talking about in terms of autoimmune diseases, right? IVIG can actually help. In fact, some cystic fibrosis patients use IVIG, and they have also found success. So, but unfortunately, I was told since they don't know my cause, I am not eligible. And it can stop the progression, and that's what frustrates me so much, that my neurologist, like, literally told me, I was like, so, you know, some of my people in my group, they get, you know, like once a year, they get blood tests and everything to check for autoimmune diseases. So, like, you know, it's been a couple years, and I was wondering if, you know, maybe you could test me again. She's like, no need. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, what do you mean no need? It's, you know, we just don't know. And I'm like, but we might know if you would just take the test again, because it can take years. Let's say, for instance, for example, that I had Sjogren's syndrome, right? Like, I have all the symptoms of Sjogren's syndrome, which is, it can do stuff internally, and so I don't want to downplay it. I'm just going to use the most basic symptoms, which is extreme dry mouth, like no saliva is happening. Very similar to what's happening to me, but I don't have a diagnosis of Sjogren's. Dry skin, but also, which I think would be the most irritating, dry eye, like you don't create tears anymore. Plus, can you imagine, like, I would imagine you're constantly having to put drops in your eyes. I don't even know how that works. That sounds absolutely hideous. So for any of you out there that have Sjogren's, I am so sorry to hear that, and I hope that you're well and finding therapies that work for you. But yeah, that's why it's so frustrating for the 50% of us that have SFN that are idiopathic. In fact, I don't know anybody personally that has it that isn't idiopathic. And it's super frustrating. There are some people I'm just starting to see that have mast, M-A-S-T, cell disease, which is like a allergy, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it's something mast cell, I don't know. There's so many things, but anyway, because I don't want to get off track into that, but I think one person that has mast cell disease, and her doctor believes that that is what caused her SFN, but I don't know if I have mast cell disease or not. I wouldn't even know what kind of doctor to go to find that out. Maybe an allergy doctor, or I don't know. Anyway, let's continue with the article at hand and stop being ADD for just a moment, if we can, please. Okay, so let's see. Okay, autoantibodies are present in many neuropathies, including Guillain-Barré. Okay, so we got that far. These autoantibodies target molecules expressed by nerve cells and damage the cells to cause neuropathy. In these conditions, the autoantibodies have been demonstrated to directly cause the neuropathy and treatment with immune-modifying therapy. The autoantibodies have been demonstrated to directly cause the neuropathy and treatment with immune-modifying therapy. Why am I not, this doesn't feel, I'm not reading it right or something. Or it's not going in my brain correctly. I'm not sure. The autoantibodies have been demonstrated to directly cause the neuropathy, and treatment with immune-modifying therapy typically improves neuropathy symptoms. Okay. SFN-associated autoantibodies. This is where it gets cool. Okay. Small fiber neuropathy associated autoantibodies. Distinct antibodies discovered in some patients with small fiber neuropathy are named for their molecular targets. They include the fibroblast. Okay, this stuff all sounds like it's in space. I don't know. They include the fibroblast growth factor receptor 3. And the initials for that are, and they use these initials a lot, and I would imagine you could just use the initials in Google and it will pull up this whole sentence. The initials are F as in Frank, G as in George, F as in Frank, R as in Robert, 3 as in the number 3. They include the fibroblast growth factor receptor 3, FGFR3, and trisulfated heparin disaccharide. Now that word, disaccharide, I learned from my time at the lab that I worked at, that I loved working at. Still bitter. Anyway, but I learned that word, disaccharide. It's a word, let me tell you. Let me spell it for you. D as in David, I, S as in Sam, A, C, C, H, A, R, I, D, E. And it's pronounced disaccharide. So the two autoantibodies are fibroblast growth factor receptor 3, which is FGFR3, and trisulfated heparin disaccharide, which is TS-HDS antibodies. And those initials for the trisulfated heparin disaccharide is T as in Tom, S as in Sam, hyphen, which is a little dash in the middle, H as in Heather, D as in David, S as in Sam. Antibodies. Okay. And those, okay, so I already gave you the initials. So then it says fibroblast growth factor receptor 3. And then it goes on to just talk about, let's see, it says in 2015, French scientists investigated possible immune-related causes of sensory neuropathy, including small fiber neuropathy, in patients with no other known causes, the idiopathic ones, right? Their search uncovered a highly specific autoantibody to FGFR3. They corroborated this finding in a larger prospective multi-center study in 2019. Okay, so I'm thinking that's why, like, I read in some of this, there's a lot more to this article than just these 2 pages that I'm reading you, but like, what I've read so far is essentially some doctors at about 2015, the same year I was diagnosed, started thinking and wondering like, okay, why are 50% of patients idiopathic? We got to figure this out. 50% is way too many to just be like, oh, sorry, I don't know what's causing it. Because if you don't know the cause, you cannot treat it. And the only way that idiopathic patients are treated, there is no treatment. We are just prescribed medications for our symptoms, right? Which for me is pain medication, anxiety medication. Oh God. What else do I have? I've had so much crap over the years, I can't even tell you. Not the nausea medication, the over-the-counter crap that you have to take. I mean, there's so much. So, but if we had a treatment, perhaps we wouldn't need all those other things. And not only does that make our life easier, but it's less expensive. I can't tell you the amount of money that I spend on things that I may only use once or twice, like this thing that you're sitting on right now. The thing that I showed you that would help Kelly wash my hair when I can't use my arms, because you know there's times where I've told you I'm either like a T-Rex, like this is it. This is the movement of my arms. If I try to move, you know, like the other day, you guys saw me coloring my hair. That was a great arm day for me. And that's why I knew, I was like, bitch, you better color your hair today. Today is the day, because that was the day I could move my upper arms. There are other days, which today is one of those. I can tell by the way my shoulders feel that if I try to move my shoulders, it's going to hurt. And if I forget and I don't move very slowly, it's going to be the kind of pain that happens so suddenly and takes you to your knees. I think I told you this story before, but one day, a few winters ago, I hadn't been used to my shoulders. You know, I was just used to being a normal human that was able to use my, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to, it's so very hard to, you're not going to make everybody happy. And so when I say normal human, I by no means, that sounds weird. I by no means. I'm not trying, my intention is not to offend anybody. Having an illness doesn't mean that you're not normal, okay? But, ooh, that hurt. Okay. See, I forgot. There you go. But this one isn't as bad as the left. The left one is the one that killed me, as I was saying in my story. So a few years ago, before my shoulders hurt, it was a winter, and I was going to put on my jacket, and you know how you like kind of take it and you swing it around like a cape or whatever. Well, I lifted the shoulder at the normal speed that one would, right, to put on a coat. And it felt like somebody grabbed my shoulder and just tore the flesh right from the bone. The muscle, the ligaments, the nerves, the skin, all of it, just tore it right off the bone. That's the level of pain that it was. It was an instant 10. And I was standing up. I went from standing up to instantly on my knees screaming, because it stayed, right? That intense pain of the tearing from the bone. It wasn't just a instant thing, like that pain stayed there, and I cried my eyes out. It was awful. And when it was done, I scooped myself up and I went to work. And there's going to be days where you can scoop yourself up, and there's going to be days where you can't. And please do not give yourself shit or guilt or blame for the days when you can't. I know that's hard to do. I am one of those people. I feel extreme guilt. A lot of my tears have been from feeling guilty and feeling bad, or feeling like just irrational thoughts like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm a piece of shit, I'm so lazy. Well, no, because if I wasn't in pain, right, I would be going to work like I do every day. You know, it's not like I mean, you can go look at my work record. I'm not one of those that just like, oh, I think maybe I'll go to work sometime this week. No. You know, I went to work every day. I loved going to work every day until this happened. And then it was like, oh, well, this is your life now. Anyway, let's get back on track, shall we? Okay. So where were we? We got all the way down to the CIDP. Okay, in these conditions, The autoantibodies have been demonstrated to directly cause the neuropathy, and treatment with immune-modifying therapy typically improves neuropathy symptoms. Improves! Oh my God! That would be great. So, small fiber neuropathy associated antibodies. We already read about those. So we moved on to fibroblast growth factor. Oh, this is where I was telling you where I think I missed the boat on the autoimmune bus. I guess it's a floating boat, a bus/boat. I don't know. Because I was diagnosed in 2015. And this paragraph here says, in 2015, French scientists investigated possible immune-related causes of sensory neuropathy, including small fiber neuropathy, in patients with no other causes. Their search uncovered a highly specific autoantibody to FGFR3. They corroborated this finding in a larger prospective multi-center study in 2019 in France and Brazil. In both studies, the researchers detected FGFR3 autoantibodies in 15% of patients with unexplained or idiopathic sensory neuropathy. A study in the U.S. also reported the presence of FGFR3 antibodies in a similar proportion of patients. And then the article goes on, which again, like I said, I'll try to, but that was the most, to me anyway, important part. So that gave me so much hope. And it also, I mean, first of all, I have to find a new neurologist anyway, because as you know, my precious PA Cindy died. I am not going to go back to my original neurologist because she gave up on trying to find a cause. She gave up on me. In my opinion, she gave up on me, which is unacceptable. Like, she knows that it could take years for these antibodies for these autoimmune diseases, lupus, Sjogren's syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis. It can take years and years for these antibodies to show up in my blood. Or I could be what's called seronegative, which means it never shows up in my blood. They just have to go by symptoms. And she basically told me, nah. She took one set of blood tests, one set, and determined, meh. She no longer cared about finding a cause. And that, y'all, unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, fired, move on, get a new doctor, because it's unacceptable is what it is. It's unacceptable. I also, I'm going to move you away so I can give you an example. I went to, so at some point she told me, I can't remember why, she told me to go see a rheumatologist. I guess because she was like, well, if you have one of these autoimmune diseases, a rheumatologist is someone that the person or the kind of doctor that would be treating me. I love these little waves right here. Oh, look at that. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by my hair. Just let me have this, okay, please. Anyway, oh God. It's Monday, y'all. I don't want to do it. Oh, okay. So she recommended that I go see a rheumatologist. And it was when I dared to ask her, after a couple years, when I was reading in these support groups, that some of my fellow patients, their doctors were testing them every year to try to find a cause. And I asked her, I was like, hey, what's up? She was like, nah, we're good. And that's when, after a few visits, I was like, well, can we just, please? finally she said, go see a rheumatologist, because they're going to be the ones, if you do have an autoimmune disease, they're going to be the ones to treat you. So I don't know how to show you any other way than doing this. So here we're gonna turn. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna. Well, okay. It's hopefully you'll get an idea. For whatever reason, this I just really irritate. This thing is irritating me. Not you. You guys are not irritating me, but whatever this thing that's holding you is irritating me. Okay, so I went to see this one rheumatologist. He was fired after the first day. I went to see this one rheumatologist, and he was testing me for fibromyalgia. He's the one that diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And I told him about my arms. I was like, I don't know what to do here with, my arms. And he was like, okay, well, show me. So, and I'm sorry, this is making my boobs look so freaking ridiculously huge. I don't, there's nothing I can do with them. They're just there. So pardon me. I'm sorry. No, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for my breasts. Okay. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just here. Okay. So anyway, so he was telling me, show me what you're talking about. And I was like, okay. And he was like, go ahead and raise your arms up. And I was like this. I said, I have to do it this slow, because if I do it fast, I don't know why if I do it fast it triggers them, but if I do it slow, it helps me determine exactly how far I can go. Now already I can tell you with this arm, the left arm, which is my worst, today, that's as high as I can go. God, my head looks so tiny in proportion to my boobs. Wow. Okay. Hey. Okay, I feel like that if you've seen Beetlejuice, the guy that had his little head shrunk and they were in heaven or hell. See, just this, holding my arms up like that, just holding them up, I can't. It's done. I'm done. I can't hold them up anymore. And you see the difference. Like my last video where I'm coloring my hair, I'm able to, I was able to do it completely normally. And that would either last... that could last a whole day, or just a couple of hours, or just a few minutes. Who knows? Today is not a good shoulder day for me, and most days aren't. So I am very thankful for the day that I had to color my hair, which is another reason I vow to not let it get too gray, because I don't. If it's just like right here, I can just go boop, 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 and then have my husband move the hair over for me and do another boop, 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 or just have my husband do it for me, because I can't, just doing that, what I was just showing you, boop, 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 is killing my shoulder. And also my back is killing me, because God forbid I'm just sitting here, okay, but just everything I do is basically killing me, you know what I mean? It just all hurts. Anyway, so, but that's it. That's it for now, guys. Oh, wait, let me finish telling you my rheumatology story. So I told him that, and essentially what you guys just saw is what he witnessed, and what he said to me was, oh, you're good. And I go, I'm sorry, what? What do you mean? I really expected to hear something like, oh, wow, I'm sorry about that. We need to, something. I expected something. I expected him to say something like, hold on, it's very hard to do this when you can't move your arms when you're like a T-Rex. So, but, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get my hair up in a ponytail. Kelly's not very good at doing it. He does his great. He can put his hair in a ponytail great, but not so much in mine. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the fact that he was like, oh no, you're fine. I'm like, I can't move my arms. Like, I have arms, which I should be able to use. Like, it seems kind of like a waste. Like, why? And they're causing me pain. They're on my body and they're causing me pain and I can't use them. Like, so anyway, that was, I was like, I'm done. Nope, unacceptable. So as soon as I got in the car, I told her, I was like, we are not coming back to him. That was an unacceptable answer. I mean, at the very least, I would expect him to say, wow, that's clearly, that's not a good range of motion at all. I'm not sure what to do with that because I'm not an orthopedist or whatever, but perhaps go to an orthopedist or somebody that deals with muscle shit, or get some physical therapy, or I don't know what. But yeah, that's not normal. At the very least. But for him to just be like, nah, you're good. I cannot dress myself. I cannot put on my own bra. Or clip it or snap it. Or put clothes on over my body. Put clothes on over my body. On my body? I don't know. Anyway. So that was unacceptable. So I found another rheumatologist, and I do like her because every 6 months, though I haven't seen her in a couple of years because of COVID and not having insurance. So I am going back to her, but I'm going to find another neurologist because though she was absolutely wonderful, great patient, it's called something. Bedside manner, a good bedside manner, meaning that they're empathy. They have a lot of empathy. Basically, that's what good bedside manner means. They have empathy. They can show empathy for you. And some patients need that and some don't. I am a patient that needs a doctor that has good bedside manner. Some people want a doctor that's just very direct and stern, and this is this and this is that, and pleep-de-pleep, you're out the door, and that's great. And some people want that. I need a doctor that's going to sit and cry with me and pass the tissue because we're both crying and we're snotting all over ourselves. That's the kind of doctor I need. And she was. She was very sweet. She was very kind. She could show empathy. But that part, when she said she's not going to be testing me, that part was basically, it felt like she was like done with me in terms of like, I'm no longer trying to find help for you. At that point, she just became a dispensary, which means she just signs off on my meds every 3 months. I have to go back and see her every 3 months so she can write a script. That's literally all she would do. How are you doing? She would ask me if I have any new symptoms, and if I'd say, yeah, I have this, she'd be like, oh, that's strange. I haven't heard that. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Keep me posted, la-di-da. She did, which I thought was very sweet. And this was very sweet. This I did really appreciate. She was like, there have been some studies, because she started working with a psychologist. And she said there's been some studies with chronic pain patients and patients with depression, like severe, like depression, patients that are suicidal, on a ketamine infusion. And God, I hope I don't cry over this, but it was not covered by insurance, and I never had to pay a dime. Twice, I didn't keep doing it because it did not work for me, unfortunately. I've got to try to get this hair behind my head, and I don't know how to do it. I tried it the first time, and it was, it's a great experience. Like, it's just a little, and I don't like needles. That wasn't my favorite part, but the place I went to was very sweet about that. They used the smallest needle they could. They were very comforting. And so because of that, and sometimes that's all it takes, guys. If any of you are nurses or doctors and you're listening, and you have a patient like me that is very anxiety ridden, listen, we don't want to be this way. We're not doing it to irritate you. I know it can be very irritating, because you might do 1,000 sticks a day. But for me, okay, I might only get 6 sticks a year, right? And for me, it's more from the trauma, the childhood trauma, having to sit still while someone is hurting me is really what it comes down to. And I explained that to them. I explained to them that I have PTSD. I explained why, because I'm not ashamed of it, and you should not be ashamed of it. If you have childhood trauma of any kind, you should not be ashamed of that coming out in ways that is not fun for you. It can be an embarrassing experience, a humiliating experience, especially if the person that you're with, the nurse or whoever's treating you, treats you like you're acting like a baby, right? Like you're 3 years old and they're like rolling their eyes and they're sighing. Like, that is not going to help. So a lot of empathy, a lot of patient care, a lot of just being quiet and calm and comforting. Putting a pillow under the arm really helps. If you're getting an IV or getting your blood drawn, that helps a lot. And I have very small veins and they roll. So anyway, I'm getting off topic, but what's new? So I do have to go because my body is killing me being in this same spot. Like, I'm going to be spending the rest of the day lying down in bed, I can tell you right now. But it's worth it because I really wanted you guys to know about this. Because you could end up going years like I did not knowing about it. And I think it's absolutely fascinating. I think it could change a lot of lives if we can find a cause for our small fiber neuropathy. That means we can find a treatment. It means there probably already is a treatment. And it's just a matter of getting insurance to approve it. And with a known cause, you can very often get it approved. So anyway, that's it, guys. I just wanted to let you know about that. The autoimmune small fiber neuropathy, look it up. I'm sure you'll find this article. I will try to add the link. I'm not sure I know how to do that, so I may get Kelly to help me. But that's it. I'm going to go eat and take my meds and lay in bed and probably cry. Yeah. Because I'm really having some pain that's kicking into my shoulders, into my back. Like, it's really intensifying. So I'm going to go. But I hope you guys have a beautiful and cool day, and don't burn your ass off like I'm likely to when it turns 102 degrees. There's nothing you can do at that point. It doesn't. You can only get so naked, right? And you could have 1,000 fans on you and be soaking wet and you're still dying of heat. It's just fucking awful is what it is. Anyway, I gotta go. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form. Until next time, I guess. Have a good one. Mwah!